Hello and welcome to another episode of Viewer Discretion / Love is Kimes. David, I know we've been podcasting together for a long time, but I think it is time we ended things at 3 p.m. today when we're done recording. It's you with the Emma Styles fake out. I can't believe she did it at the end. I truly was stunned that I've waited for someone to do this for a while, and she actually did it. A true zoomer.
I was absolutely going to start the exact same way because it reminded me of, for folks who like the Key and Peele skit where they were doing the cooking show. It looked like it had to have been, anyway, we'll get to it. It had to have been chopped and screwed. Like it had to have been edited that way. There's no way an actual living human being delivers a speech like that. There's no way.
That whole scene, they just didn't make sense.
Right.
Those, which let's end with that because that's kind of the cliffhanger.
Yes.
That ends. So we are recapping episodes 10 and 11, and then in the second half of this podcast, we will recap the Traitors finale. Mm-hmm. But the finale of Love is Blind is not until next week. We haven't even gotten a full result. So they're going to cram a lot into it, which is great, by the way, because the weddings are kind of boring generally until they get to the altar anyways.
Yeah.
I don't need to see a montage. I don't need to see a bunch of like couch conversations with family members.
You're right.
But one couple doesn't make it to the altar at all. I feel like we should start with them, Bree and Connor, right?
Yes.
Kind of surprised me. I thought they were I didn't think they were gonna get married, but I didn't see her ending it. Before we get to that, we get the end of the Chris conversation at the bar. This series of episodes starts with the end of the meetup. One of the great all-time Love is Blind meetups. Yes. Past meetups. This is really good because of Chris. We also got a Kevin and Kia appearance.
Kia, Tyler have been doing the podcast rounds. They were on 80s Pod. So they seem actually even more likable. Tyler especially.
The whole trio is coming across great, in my opinion, both in and out. Kevin and Kia come off fine here. Kevin looks great. Shout out to Kevin, who saw our post about how he was not built for two women and was like, yeah, you guys are right. And then I said, it's okay, Kevin, you're not for reality TV. And he's like, man, I just want to drink beers and play darts.
There you go.
He
also was very fun about his own haircut. Like there was a lot of talk about his haircut in the pods. So he was cool. Like the three of them seemed like cool people.
Yeah, there's something to be said on Love is Blind about getting out at the right time.
Yes. AD said it on the pod. She was like, I wish that I had taken you guys' route because obviously we know what happened to her. Just like it would have been better if she just kind of had this like heroes walk off and she would be so much better off. I mean, she said she's happy with how her life has turned out, blah, 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 all that stuff. But in general,
Yeah, we all watched Perfect Match. No comment. Okay, back to Bree and Connor. So shout out to those three. Connor, so Bree, it picks off where it left off with the conversation with her and Connor. You remember the last episode I said I thought she was kind of lame in that conversation. Yeah. At the bar, Chris, she's still talking to Chris, not Connor, pardon me, says he insinuates that him and Mike made an agreement where he basically said Jess was his number one. Connor was like, all right, Bree is mine. Yeah. I don't believe a word coming out of this man's mouth.
Not at all.
He says, Bree was like friends with loser dudes or just happy going through life. And I'm like, she lives a half a mile from me. She's hot as F. He asks her if she's attracted to him. He says something about he would take her to the Four Seasons.
The Four Seasons. With the Charles Schwab account, the Four Seasons. Who says no?
She says she wouldn't have gone through this with anyone but Connor to him. That's kind of her rejection. Yes. She doesn't really wholeheartedly rejection. There is a great moment where he says, apparently I'm Andrew Tate. And Bree says, I don't know that person. Do we believe her when she says she doesn't know who Andrew Tate is?
I think she's, we'll get to her because I believe she's absolutely knows who that is. And I'm with you. Not enough of rejection. Well, I like a little bit of grace because the dude seemed absolutely unhinged on something a little bit more. So I don't want to sort of police how a woman rejects a guy in that situation. I do want to say that. And there's editing and there's cutting and there's all that stuff. But you kind of wanted her to just like rip his head off and like throw it across the bar. But that has happened. It
felt to me a little bit like she enjoyed the attention. Even the way she portrays it to Connor later, where she's like, I just got a message from him. Mm-hmm. He asks her, like, are you staying in the area tonight? I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. And Connor is not affected by it. But again, I like, if that was me and like a dude did that, and I would have been way more critical, and the whole thing was kind of odd. Oh, there is a brief before we get back to Bree and Connor. We do see some Chris and Jessica, and you can just tell she's incredibly uncomfortable around him, and that he's very drunk, and thus concludes Chris's arc.
Good edit for Jessica. She gave it to him, because it, again, I think this kind of affirms what we talked about last week, that it was not really his breakup. It was just,
I think you're right. Yeah, he was trying to like be nice to her, kind of, we should hang out, and she was pretty
why right
pretty firm no. We'll see who comes to the reunion. Very interested in seeing if Chris shows up. He is the big question mark at this moment. There's gonna be more, of course.
Yes.
So we get a couple dates with Bree and Connor. It's a weird 180 on her part, because in the two scenes we see before their breakup, one, we see a montage of her, like she takes him to Michigan to meet her parents at the fitting. Both of their moms are there. It seems like all systems go. They're on this date on a train, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And he is like, I fall more in love with you every day. And I did notice that in this conversation, she mostly just talks about how much he loves her.
Yeah.
But at this point, David, before we get to the break, like I did not think, I was like, oh, maybe they actually are going to get married. Did you feel the same way?
No, I didn't think they were going to get married. I thought they would get to the altar. Like them not getting to the altar was the big shock. But I did not feel it because
from her.
I didn't feel it from her end. Yeah, I just didn't feel it from her end. It felt still like she was going through the motions in a way that it just didn't feel right. It felt like we were getting sort of a like a twist edit, like an edit that made it seem like things were a lot better, because they never really fought or really had like, it wasn't really like a tumultuous relationship. It was just one that didn't feel like it was heading to marriage.
That's fair. Yeah. And with her, I think it's felt that way since Mexico.
Yeah.
Right. Like she's never seemed to be all in on this dude. She's always been kind of nitpicking and a little negative. The conversation starts really odd. She says she keeps talking about how she hasn't been her best self. And it felt like to me, like she was trying to use that as a way to get her. That was like her initial story. But then she started criticizing him and saying how, like when she was criticizing his like house, she has been wondering, is he lazy? Does he not have pride or hustle or grit? Is he going to be a liability? Her words. She says she's used to someone who's alpha to her, who when they go to a restaurant, when he asks her, what should we order? It's off-putting. Okay, pause.
Yeah.
This is the exact moment when I texted you, Bree sucks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was before we get to the actual breakup, like what was your...
As she was talking, I thought this conversation was going to make a turn. I thought it was going to be like, when I first met you, I thought the thing, but I didn't, but it just never came. She was just like, you're trash. And at that moment, when she said the alpha thing, I felt like actually the only reason she didn't entertain Chris is because the other women were there, like, and felt shame by him. I feel like she's better fit with that because they're speaking the same language.
She was absolutely speaking his language.
They're speaking the same talk. It's that same red pill podcast stuff from a woman's perspective. And I just feel like if he hadn't embarrassed himself and the other women weren't disgusted by him, I think she would absolutely give him a shot because they seem more aligned as kind of crappy people who believe in this stuff than otherwise. I absolutely think that her and Chris they seem compatible in not great ways, but they seem compatible.
It was really interesting to see a woman use that type of language.
Yeah.
Not trying to think of another time we've seen that on the show, or it's just not something I've seen a lot. I found it very off-putting.
Yes.
And she continues to say, I'm trying to decide, are you the total package or are you just in my life to teach me how to be loved? Which is such a crappy thing to say to someone.
Yeah.
And I'm so out in this.
Yeah.
I've been pretty critical of, like, I genuinely have not enjoyed the way this woman interacts with him. And I've talked about that. But I thought, like, you're already can you not break up with him? I don't even think he understood that they were breaking up, to be honest. But can you not, like, do this in a way that's kinder and less like, I like how you treat me and that's about it? Because that's how it felt watching this.
Yeah, it was like you treat me nice, but you're not built for life and you're not manly enough. And I don't know if the original conversation was a worse fight or something like that, and she just wanted to like say these nasty things on camera, but she ended up looking terrible because he kind of took it well and then cried at the end. Like I felt really bad for him because he did seem to really love her and really want to be with her, and this was just a nasty conversation that lasted way too long.
He did seem to come out of it thinking that they were still going to be together. I would be very shocked if these people are together based on what we've seen, right? Like
I would also be a little shocked if we didn't get to the reunion. She didn't say, "Hey, me and Chris went out a couple times." But
would she admit it though at this point?
Maybe not. Maybe because of the backlash, she wouldn't admit it. Maybe Chris would say, "Hey, you DM me back a couple times, a few times," and she would maybe deny it. But also, Connor, Jess, like let's you know,
would love that. If
you're
it doesn't work out with Mike and Emma, Connor and Emma, I've always thought, he will do the power rankings. Ultimately, he came out of this really well. I thought, very kind to her, very affirming. Seems like a really good dude. So okay. Speaking of good dudes, we can do Vic and Christine. Every Vic and Christine scene is like 30 seconds.
Yes.
They're just giving them absolutely zero drama.
So, did they not get the same? Did it not get, there's been speculation that they didn't get an apartment either.
So, okay. Because so David and I have discussed conspiracy theories about not that they were not in the show at all, but that they were originally a couple and that they had to add stuff on.
Yeah.
We have not seen, unless I have missed it, please commenters, tell me if I'm wrong. We have not seen a scene of them in an apartment.
Yes. There's been interviews of Christine in a place that's different, that like an apartment-esque place, but it's not. Yeah, there's not been apartment stuff.
They were at the bar, both of them, but nothing happened. They were just there.
But I don't feel like they were originally shot to be part of the cast in the bar. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like Vic is there with other people. Like when Vic's there, Kevin's there. When Christine's there, you know, like it's kind of like there's a world in which we don't see them as a couple, and we never know that they were together because they're just there as part of the reunion.
The scene at because they get all the final dates. They're at a flower shop. And this isn't their final date. It was just a date. He says, "Do you have any fears?" "Nope. Me neither. Can't wait to do forever with you." The only drama of the entire season with Christine is that she didn't like her first 2 wedding dresses.
That's it. That's it. So here's the next conspiracy. I'm really starting to think that we imagined them like Fight Club because we wanted something good this season. Like I need commenters to let us know that you see them too. I need to know.
Are they AI? Are Vic and Christine, were they AI generated in the edits to give this season a love story? Oh my God.
I just need to know that somebody else sees them. That's all I need. I need to be affirmed right now that anybody else besides the 2 of us see them on the show. If you see them on the show, please send us a message because I feel like I'm like tripping balls right now every time they're on camera.
It feels like a different show altogether. Like it's not part of the show. The only place there's controversy about Vic and Christine is on Threads.
Right.
Won't get into that. Their final date is at like a spa, I think. And I'm trying to take notes. I'm like, there's gotta be something to talk about here. All I wrote down is they talked about how they prayed for each other. She says, "You're someone I'm proud to know." I love you deeply. I love you more deeply than I've ever loved anyone. Can I say something? I will say this. I have seen comments, not the Threads comments that I'm alluding to, but like on various posts. By the way, check out Viewer Discretion on Instagram and TikTok. I've been reading the comments. They're very funny. Where people are like, it sucks that Netflix isn't showing us more of Vic and Christine. Does it? What do you
want to know?
I love them. I'm thrilled for them. They belong together. They're head straight to the pantheon.
Yeah.
Like what is there to show?
I feel like I'm watching one of those shows where the couples like pick a new house, like House Hunters or something like that. Like that's what I feel like I'm watching when I see Vic and Christine.
Let's do Alex and Ashley and go in a completely different direction. They get in a fight at the meetup.
Yes.
With Priyanka. She basically they're trying to pin him down on the timeline of when he lived in Austin. I was trying to understand it myself.
Yes,
it was like a logic problem. He does this voice.
Yeah.
when it's the same voice where when you're like talking to a child, not like a toddler, but like a kid in high school and they're lying to you.
Yeah.
That's like I've seen people talk about how he sounds like he's being interviewed for a job or he's doing a post-game conference. All I know is it is 100% the voice and affect of someone who's lying.
And it is because you know,
straight.
I don't know if you know, like he's a sports guy. It's very much like it's very much we're not trading him. We're never trading him. Like the day before the trade deadline. Like that's exactly how he sounds. Hey, he's coming here to play. We're gonna practice tomorrow. We're gonna suit him up for the game. You know, he's here for the long haul, and then he's traded 12 hours later. That's exactly how he sounds.
It's like Nick Sirianni being asked about AJ Brown. Right. He's a Philadelphia Eagle, and I believe he'll be a Philadelphia Eagle for the foreseeable future.
There you go.
It actually gets frustrated. It's too boring and tedious to really replay. The debate is over like how much time he spent with Austin, living with a woman or not living with a woman, and when that was. And Ashley is like, well, your story you told me was different. And he goes, well, do you know where you were 3 years ago on a Tuesday in May? The only thing I thought, because this is more of the same with him. The only thing I thought was, at one point he gets sassy and he says, every time I off, I'll let you know. Dick comment, but I mean, it made me laugh. The only thing that I thought was funny about this was Priyanka just sticking around.
Yeah. Well, it was like a thread from the last episode because when they left Chris, she was like, hey, we're going to go talk to Alex. And then we get it. And she was just there. I don't know. She must have clued somebody in that she had another story. But like there had to be some reason why she was even there in the first place.
Screen time.
Right. Like she's like last season, the woman, the best friend who went in the bathroom.
The horrible friend. He keeps doing like, this is like a 2-1 while you're ganging up on me. She finally leaves.
Yeah.
And Ashley says, you say a lot of words, but sometimes there's nothing to them.
Yeah.
But by the time of the fitting, this is all gone out of her head. Oh no, they do fight back at the apartment as well. And she just confronts him about the relationship, and he says he does not want to rekindle it in his shady voice. At the fitting, he does his, I'm not nervous for this design. She seems like a yes at the fitting. Like it seems like she's back on track with him. We see a final date with him, or they talk about the decision, and he says, I can't control the outcome of things all the time. Stoicism helps me keep my emotions in check. I feel confident in the end product. The dude just talks like ChatGPT set to like read. He
sounds like a guy who has no place to live, who's been spending the last 4 years convincing people that he has jobs and places to live. that's how
I have to hear the phrase nomadic lifestyle.
Right. More time. That's basically, that's a really cute way. That's like ChatGPT, as you mentioned, ChatGPT telling us how to explain somebody who has housing insecurity and trying to convince folks he does not, whose mom may or may not be a fugitive of the law. We did not discuss this with his mom last week, who may or may not be running from some sort of warrants or something, because I did not understand her situation either, if that is in fact his real mom.
At the casino, she says, I'm going to be Alex Henderson's wife. The girls are at a casino for their bachelorette. It's like a fake casino, though.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad. The boys get to go to Monster Jam, which is sick. As now the mother of a 2-year-old, I recognize Gravedigger on site.
There you go.
My son has 3 Gravedigger shirts, by the way. 3.
Prime parenting. That's prime parenting right there.
He says, I lost it. And in 5 years, I see myself living in Florida with a trust in Dubai and a safe house in New Zealand.
The most unserious person possible.
Normal, bro. Like, just be normal. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of the head of cybersecurity or the DEA or whatever. He's tight with people in high places. He can do these things.
A safe house in New Zealand? From what? What is this? Yeah.
ACL injuries. He needs to be safe from ACL injuries.
This one, I'll be curious when we get to the I do's, because at this point, they are both acting like they're going to say yes.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay. Devonta and Brittany. Have you ever seen the Go Girl Give Us Nothing meme?
Yes.
It's literally every time Devonta talks, I'm like, go girl, give us nothing.
Nothing. We didn't meet his family, right? Am I tripping? Or we never met his family.
No, you're right. We've only met her family. It's a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, we never met his family, which was the thing that I was looking for. I guess we're at the wedding. It was something I'm absolutely looking forward to see who spits out somebody who looks like him, who says he's never dated a person of color and is disgusted by it. I cannot wait.
It was like when we met who was the beautiful woman in Minnesota, who the basketball coach's family.
Oh, was scaring the host. Virginia.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, so
I still follow her.
We get a Lash studio in the basement that she then talks to him for a while. I mean, it's just every scene with them is painful to watch to me. It's a woman trying very, very hard and a man who is literally giving her nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Like, I think with him, the thing, and she's acknowledges this, that you're trying to parse as a viewer is what % of this is just your personality versus not being interested in this woman. Because I do think, to be fair to him, I kind of just think this is how this dude is. Yeah. I just don't think he's a very dynamic person.
I think it is one of those perfect examples of if he wants to, he will. Because he's just, again, it's just not doing anything for me. They're not really engaging. He just kind of like, even the way he talks to her, it's kind of like little sister and making fun a little bit, and you're snoring and you're doing this and ignoring the fact that you have a fine woman in front of you and you're just acting like it's nothing,
I've seen in like people speculating about his sexuality, which we're not doing here, but like just because they're so just confused by this like sexy woman throwing herself at this man and him just having zero interest in it. They have a final date that is he actually does talk a little bit in this one. He tells her that his mind's been racing. He needs some time away from her. He needs a dark day. She asks if he's not certain. He says he's 98% there, but I don't think he means 98% to it. Yes. She says her biggest fear is a no at the aisle. And then he says he's mad that somebody he heard at the fitting, she told them she feels like he doesn't kiss her enough. He's pissed about that. And then he brings up a prenup, which was another Virginia plotline. She says she wishes he brought it up sooner. And then they pray together. Here's my question for you. I don't think this man has any intention of marrying this woman, so why is he even bringing up a prenup?
I think he's looking for ways for them to break up. I think
he's trying to like.
I think he's trying to give all of these out. I think he wants her to say no at the altar. Like, I really think that's what he wants, and he's casting all of these doubts, even bringing up the thing about the dress. Like, what I heard, what you said, that felt like a very innocuous
he's trying
thing.
To pick a fight.
Picking fights, trying to find ways, and she's just is not having it. And because I think for him, the light bulb went off. They're at her place. She talks about the money she makes. He's like, I can make $40,000 in a year, and she's like, whoa, wow. And I think he's like, okay. Now I could bring up a prenup. Maybe this will be the fight. Like he's just like spending all of the energy that if you like somebody, you would spend that energy planning dates or being romantic. He's planning ways to try to get out of it. And I think he wants her to say no. And it's not working.
40,000 in a month.
There you go.
Or
it could be 12 the next, who knows?
I've said this in our last episode, but I just truly do not enjoy watching this plot line because it makes me feel sad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Jordan and Amber. Whew. This is the hardest one for yes or no, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Because it is a couple that actually likes each other and has chemistry.
Yeah.
But there's just this giant problem. So they actually get in their first fight at the party. He says she hears him saying to a group of guys that, he's nervous about meeting her child. She just like, if you want to bail, it's fine. They separate. Then we see them back at the apartment. He tries to talk to her. She doesn't want to talk to him. She's in bed. We see him eating a pizza as he waits.
Talk to the dog.
It's like, oh, someone else I can't talk about too. Right. I like Jordan. Then they have the fight.
Yeah.
She walks in the door and she says he's reading, he's nervous, which is the camera's there. It's obvious he knows that they're going to do this on camera.
Right.
She says she's hurt that he didn't express it to her first, that he was nervous. He reinforces that he loves her. He doesn't want to end things. And he gives her options. How do you want to proceed? They bring down the temperature and the fight is, it ends. It's not a breakup or anything like that. What was your feeling watching them have this fight? And like, did you think they were going to survive it?
I thought they were going to survive it because it felt drunk a little bit. Like it felt like a little bit of a drunken thing, but it also felt like a real deal. I saw both sides. Like you absolutely could see both sides of this. As we know from my parenting life, my like when my partner would come around the kids and like you would, as anybody does, complain about kids because kids are like very worthy of complaining. I'd be like, what this, like, does it mean you want to leave? Like, cause you just have this insecurity as a single parent about like what that means when somebody's like talking about nervousness or things about kids. Cause you kind of hold that whatever of, the parenting. Right. And so it takes a while to be like comfortable with somebody else who is also like helping raise the kids, like complain about them too, because that's a natural thing. Got to give them space to do that. The problem is they got 2 weeks to do all of that, where he's barely going to meet this kid for a week, and like you can't. That's the problem. I mean, that's the problem with these two is that I think they're great for each other. I think can be life partners. I just think that this variable makes it pretty much impossible for them to have it figured out by the time the wedding starts.
I don't even know. It's like a logic problem or something.
Yeah.
Like I continue to hope that they stay together and just don't get married and wait. But to go back to the fight for a second, they in the moment I felt it was like a bit of an overreaction because he didn't actually say anything. He wasn't complaining about her even. He was just like, I'm nervous. And I guess he hadn't said that to her, right?
Right, yeah.
But I think she had a heightened reaction because it is a very, as you said, a very sensitive area. He hasn't met her kid yet. There's 2 weeks. It's all coming together. I liked how they both handled the fight. I liked that they brought down the temperature. And in the aftermath, like at the fitting, I mean, I just wrote down some of the stuff. He said, this is the most complete love I've ever had.
Yeah.
She said, some things that really touched me, that this actually added a little bit of a layer to the wedding aspect. She's never been in a wedding dress. She never had this experience.
Yeah.
She mentioned she wants her daughter to see her do it and to see also the love of a good man. She's ready to be by his side forever. At the casino date, she says he's the best man she's ever met. And we know that he is supposed to meet the daughter on Saturday. Yeah. I think like the week before.
Right. Yeah.
I texted you this. I will be so sad if they break up. However.
Yeah.
Breaking up, not if they don't say I do.
Right, yeah.
However, you and I have talked about this at length. It is crazy.
It's crazy, and I think that they kind of have a moral obligation to each other and this kid to have this thing figured out before they get to the altar. They should know. They should either break it off before they get there or both be affirmed in the I do. Like, break the rules of the show. You know what I'm saying? Break your kid, like we saw in the preview, the daughter's like a flower girl there. All of that, and you're talking about you're going to see your mom in the wedding dress for the first time. Don't say no, or at least.
Oh yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, like don't do any no's, but also you kind of, it just feels like they should just say let's wait, like let's not even have the wedding at all, and just leave the show and try to make this work.
Did we see it was the daughter, right? For sure.
Well, it's fuzzy editing sometimes, so there is a little girl there, and they say, it could be a little a thing, kind of like the Get Out with the door thing that we saw earlier. So it could be a red herring, but this is just kind of one of those things that's like bigger than the show itself.
If the wedding's happening, they're getting married.
Yeah.
I fully believe that if there's a wedding. Okay, Mike and Emma. This is where it ends. This is the most we've seen of these 2 episodes are like the most we see of them. And I will say this about them. I'd said in the last recap, I felt like we knew nothing about them. Like they only showed them talking about kids. This was the first episode where I actually felt like they had chemistry.
Yes, I felt the same way. Yeah. They were talking about the wedding, and it was like,
cute.
Yeah, it was.
They were like giving each other a hard time. She was talking about how she wants a martini tower and the first ever gold goblet martini tower. She jokes about how he wanted an Italian castle in Ohio, and he laughs and says those 2 things should never be in the same sentence. Like for the first time ever, I was like, oh, they actually had connection and chemistry, and we just haven't been shown it. We've just been seeing the kid stuff.
Yes, yeah. I get. It was like the first time I was like, I get it. I see why they're hanging out and spending time, and they're getting a bad edit. We're not even a bad edit. They're just getting like a, the
Yeah.
time that they would have been talking about other things have been dedicated to Vic and Christine. So,
Then their final date, it's interesting. So they do this. It's cute. They go to feed giraffes,
Mhm.
and she talks about how on their anniversary they should do something wacky. And she says, "I want to have these shared experiences before starting a family." And then he's like, "What?
Mhm.
Starting a family?" And she says, is like, "Oh, so you're." She says, "Well, the way I feel with you is 1 in a million. I 100% think you're the right partner. I see a family with you."
Mhm.
I'm like, is that a
Yeah.
yes? I was trying to parse it. It's kind of. We get to the wedding. Their family, sister says she likes it, loves it for her. His parents seem all in. He says he wants her to go first because she is the deciding factor with the family stuff. And then the vows happen. And David, I don't know what the hell goes on in this. It's so confusing to me.
It's so, she's like, this, we need to make 2 more years, like take 2 more years. And they cut to the mom, and the mom's like, no, this is terrible. And then they cut to like somebody else is distraught. And then she's back at it. Doesn't make, because first of all, what he says is, I need to know right now if you want to have kids.
The way it's edited makes it seem like that's all he says.
That's all he said, right?
It seems like he goes up there and is like, this hasn't been easy. I need to know if you want a family. It's not fair for you to have to choose now, but one of the things I love is how we communicate. And then she says, I knew I was doing this for a reason. You are my reason. I've been thinking a lot. There's a lot of things we need to go through today or 2 years from now. I can't imagine a future without you. Okay, so what is unclear, other than her being a jokester,
Right,
is whether or not she's actually answers the question about the kids. You just can't tell.
Can't tell.
You can't tell. I'm sure she did. I'm sure there's more than what we're showed.
Yeah, it's such a, maybe they cut that out so we can have the drama of him. But why do this wedding as the drama one if there was not actual drama in it? I don't know. It's very weird. And then you leave it up to him because we don't know if she said yes or no to the kids. It was the weirdest in all of Love Is Blind history, the absolute weirdest edit that we've ever had.
All right, well, let's do will they or yes or no, because let's start here. This is so hard because this man's condition, I don't know if it's been met or not.
Yeah.
This is a game time decision for me. I think it's a no. Yeah.
I think it's a no. I think it's a no.
no.
I think he's gonna say that wasn't a good enough answer for me or something, and I think it's a no.
Very confusing. Okay. Ashley and Alex. Easy no.
Easy no. I think we're getting a deep D.
Yeah, she's gonna
at the altar. Yeah. Like, you are a trash man, and I hate you, and all that stuff.
Might we get that from Devonta and Brittany, who are also a no for me? Is it not possible that Brittany is like, you have not given me anything in response, and then Devonta is quietly relieved?
Yes, maybe. Hopefully. Whatever the case, Brittany, the DMs, get ready. Get ready. Perfect Match is calling your name right now. She's
going to crush it there.
Yeah.
Her and Ashley. Okay, Vic and Christine. Easy, obvious, yes. Doesn't even discussed. Question is, how many kids do they have by now?
Right.
Okay. Jordan and Amber. It's a yes for me.
I'm going no.
Wait. So you think the wedding just doesn't happen then?
Yeah, I think they may call it before the wedding. I think.
You're torn now. You're torn.
Yeah. I'm really torn about it because it's so. What's so tough about it is that I want them. I think they are great for each other.
Yeah.
I think the construct of the show itself is what's causing the issue.
That's right. Okay, time for power rankings. A little bit of a shakeup this week, but not at the top. Of course, easy 1 and 2. Vic and Christine stay on top.
Yes.
Okay, this might surprise. I'm gonna put Connor at 3.
Yeah, it was a good.
Great run for Connor.
Yeah,
got
the tears at the end were perfect.
He's gonna crush it at the reunion, I think.
Yeah.
I've been watching. He's been on a lot of podcasts. He's been very nice about everyone.
Yeah.
Connor killing it.
I think him and Jess. I think they could. I think they got like a little. There's a little something there. They could make it happen.
I'm not ranking Chris and Jess, but Jess would be at the top too, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
Jess rules.
She's saving lives.
I am going to put Jordan and Amber in that order next.
Yeah.
Very nervous about them. I still really adore them.
Yeah. Of all the couples in Love is Blind, they're one of those couples that if you just saw them out at a bar, you'd be like, yeah, I see it. They look like they look good together.
Great point. You know? Great point. They do. They really do.
Yeah.
I just love them. Okay. I'm going to put Emma and Mike next.
Okay.
It's hard for me to, like, if Mike says no, and you and I both guessed, I almost don't even know how to feel about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would be happy, I guess, because they're not. This whole time I felt, up until we saw them hanging out, I felt like they were just wasting each other's time with the kid thing.
And if he says no, because you still can't commit to having a kid, I'll be interested in seeing how she reacts to that.
Yeah.
Because I think it might be one of those things where she's sad in the moment, but happy in a year, or less than a year, you know, I think. We put Brittany at 8. Not doing anything wrong other than being desperate in a way that makes me sad.
Yeah.
Ashley at 9.
Okay.
And that leaves 3. We'll put Bree at 10. And that leaves 2. We go Devonta 11, Alex at 12.
I would switch Devonta and Bree, because Bree was just...
Yeah, you're right.
You know, once Alpha Man came out of her mouth, you are in hell adjacency with Alex, I think.
I think with Devonta, what bothers me is I feel like he's stringing her along.
Yeah.
I think at least Bree ended it, right?
Right.
But you're not wrong. It is a very clear... This is kind of like...
The bottom 3 is very clear.
The, like... There's 3 tiers.
Right, yeah.
We've got my faves, the mid class, and then there's 3 real.
Yeah, yeah.
The power rankings never lie, honestly.
Right.
All right. Well, we will be back next week to find out who actually is married, and then
if Vic and Christine theory is correct, we'll see.
Get in our mentions and let us know what you guys think of it. First of all, let David know that they exist.
Please.
They're not fever dreams. But also let us know what you think about them based on the footage. I know people have been doing deep dives. So.
Yeah.
All right, here is our Traitors recap. All right, we're back. I'm in Indianapolis. I have just watched the season finale of The Traitors.
Why aren't you doing it, Mina? Why not?
As a woman... This was a frustrating watch. We started last week by saying, or we ended last week's episode or Traitors recap by begging Maura to just see the obvious thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're watching this, you already know the result. She single-handedly, I mean, it's not entirely her fault. We'll get to that, but it was brutal to watch her get played so hard, so obviously, and it wasn't like we talked all season about Rob and his gameplay and how we thought he played a great game, particularly at the beginning. But I didn't even feel like he did anything other than just completely hypnotizing her.
Yeah, there was no... Yeah, I mean, when we talked the first half, it was like, this is one of the great performances of all time. And I guess it probably will have to be because of how smooth it went for him.
Right.
But the actual, like, performance itself, I'm with you. I didn't really feel like there was a lot of brilliant play here. It was just, we need to convince one person and make one person a fool.
He made, and this is, I understand, a big part of the game, he made good choices in terms of the people he picked at every point. Yes, when he let Colton go, when he got, you know what I mean? Like when in retrospect, when he killed the housewives, selecting Eric, knowing that he would be ultimately his patsy at the end, and then building that relationship with Maura from the beginning. All right, well, let's do this sequentially, and we'll get to the result, obviously, in the final, the Ring of Fire. So they murder Mark, not surprising. He was the obvious choice. We talked about this. And Mark says he was closing in on the traitors and he would put his money on Eric. Yeah, okay. Do you really like? How do you
Great.
not? I don't know.
Yeah.
See, I
Closed
think
in on a traitor, you're still losing.
also, yeah, right. Like it's so obviously,
Yeah.
whatever. And afterwards, Maura says, "I think Tara is a faithful. My gut, I think." My gut is, that's the last time I'll do that, I promise, is telling me it's not Rob. And then cut to Rob saying Maura is the pivotal piece, his queen. Next morning at breakfast, he says he thought it would be him or Mark. He's not even, like, at this point, too, like, even when watching Rob, when he's, like, lying, I'm like, do you guys not see?
Yeah.
He's not.
He's a bad liar. He's a bad liar.
Yeah.
The only time that Rob actually did something real was in the challenge. That was the only, like, for me, if I look at that and I say, wow, that's Rob actual emotion. Everything else he's done has been not like that. And that should include some people in.
Johnny knows it's Rob and Eric at this point.
Yeah.
He's correct. He also mentions Candace IDing Rob, the breadcrumb, which nobody ever freaking talks about for some reason. And so we've got the Rob, Eric, Maura faction, Johnny and Tara faction. The battle is for Maura at this point, obviously. Rob says, we got to get Johnny out first. And then he's Johnny and then Tara, he keeps saying, which is, again, just, if you're Maura.
There's no way. No way. There's no way you got to believe that those are the two traitors. There's no way.
So this is where I would say, I'm going to give Maura a little bit of credit. I don't think Johnny and Tara do a good job of convincing her in the lead up to the round table. Tara's the one who's entrusted with it for some reason. She grabs Maura. She's like, it's Eric. I know Johnny isn't. We go together. Maura says Tara is convincing. But like, let me ask you this before we get to the mission. Did it not feel like to you that Johnny and Tara could have made a stronger case? Maybe we're not showing everything, I understand.
Yeah, it feels like there's a world in which they corner her. Here's all the evidence. And nobody appealed to her like shame. Nobody was like, Rob is like, there wasn't like enough of Rob is playing you. You're going to look foolish at the end of this. I think that like if you play more into that, which is exactly what happens. You talked about like, you're going to look silly if you do this. I think there's a emotional sort of anchor that you pull here that they just didn't do.
Johnny and Tara also, to me, the fact that they're so close should have helped everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is, again, if you're faithful, thinking this through, Tara Lipinski was so incapable of lying. So for you to believe it was Johnny, and even forget her, you would have to believe that Johnny had lied to her. And they were so obviously attached at the hip. Like it was never, so the only way, and this is what Rob ultimately made the case, was, well, maybe Johnny was a traitor and he recruited her. But then she would still have had to have been lying.
The question is, what would she have thought was more likely?
Yes.
Like Johnny is lying to Tara or Rob is lying to me. Like which one of those do you feel like is more likely to happen?
Thank you. That's exactly what Tara should have said to her. Yeah. I have known Johnny Weir my entire life. He is like my soulmate. Do you think it's more likely that, like you said, he's lying to me, or Rob, who you just met, is telling you the truth? But she never made that case. Johnny never made that case. If they did,
one of us is going to be huge fools at the end of this.
Yes.
I have faith that I'm not the one that's going to look like a fool at the end of this thing. How much faith do you have that you're not going to look silly?
It's exactly what they should have done. We get to the mission. It's like they're dressed like burglars and they have to like answer questions, and then somebody has to drop things out of a helicopter. Maura says she wants to go. Another thing, by the way, they shouldn't have let Rob and Maura be alone together. I would have tried to fight that personally.
Yeah.
Because like in the helicopter, how do I put this? Rob basically turns it on.
Seduces her.
Yeah. He makes like a sex joke. She's like, I'd like to have a hot bath. I can give you something hot. At one point, he like grabs her. Like there's been a lot of speculation that the two of them are hooking up. I don't think that was possible based on everything I understand about this
Right.
show. I have pushed back on the like Rob is just getting through this because he's hot. I really don't believe that was true for much of this season. But in this moment, in this relationship, in this episode, it did feel like
Well, they're holding
leaning
hands
sex
at one
appealing
point.
charm.
They're walking around holding hands at some point, and it just feel it's like it was a tool in the toolbox, and he used it.
The way she talks, Rob, you're so brave. I was just like, oh my god.
He used it against somebody who was also like at least 3.5 times hotter than he is, but it somehow worked.
They're both pretty hot. But yeah, it's just it again. If she had at the end turned on him, all of this would have been awesome.
Yeah,
I would have been like, this is great. This woman is pretending, but it was none of it.
Yeah.
None of it was pretentious.
When did you realize that? When did you realize? When did you lose hope that there was any chance?
Not at this point. At this point, I was like, it's still possible. At the round table, I would say maybe that's a great question. When did I'm looking back at my notes? Because it was still possible that she could have gone for Eric instead of Tara at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. When the very first Ring of Fire vote. Anyway, so Rob gets to be the big, strong man, jumps into the water.
He sealed it. When he did that, I was like, it's it. That's it. That's like the hero moment. There's nothing. There's nothing. Yeah.
They were all cheering for him and stuff. Because in the helicopter, there is a moment too where Maura says to Rob, like, hey, everybody's saying we should go after Eric. And he's like, I got to get her off of this.
Yeah. It should have, because he never for a second, Rob has been so open to everybody that's come across his desk. And he was so resistant to Eric. There was everybody, even the other traitors, they all, once it started to pivot that way, you say, oh, okay. Because there was a world, if Rob is not a traitor, where he just joins in on voting for Eric. Because why are you have the loyalty with the dude? You've had loyalty to other people, and he's voted him. Like, this is the most resistant he's been.
Tara should have pointed out to Maura on her own should have noticed. You're right. It's a great point. Like, why was he? There was zero reason to not pick Eric.
Right.
Zero. The only reason is if you really believe Tara Lipinski was a traitor, and that to me was the moment where I was just like, I cannot.
Right. I don't even know what Maura was voting for in that moment. Like, I don't know, because she could not have possibly thought that Tara was a traitor. I think she was just voting out of loyalty.
We're skipping ahead. First, the round table, it's, so I do understand that why she was moved on to Johnny from, even though personally, again, for all the reasons we discussed, I just never believed that Johnny would lie to Tara or that Johnny would recruit Tara and Tara would lie. But at the round table, there's not even, I actually forgot in my notes, after they eliminate Johnny, there's the scene where Rob grabs her face. It wasn't in the, anyways. At the round table, the other thing about Eric, like, he never makes a good case for himself.
Never, yeah.
Rob also is like, why did Johnny and Tara downplay their friendship at the beginning? It's not a good traitor case.
Not a good argument, right.
Johnny says, I know it's not Tara. I don't think it's you, Maura. Eric spins too subdued. I think it's him. And again, Johnny and Tara were right to go after Eric and not Rob. But like, you can only lead a horse to the water.
Johnny had it. They made me a little nervous. I mentioned last week, just when you have two people who become 0.001% of greatness at anything, it just makes me nervous that they're around. Like, they were just getting, like, if this I feel like if this show had lasted another week, Tara would have it mastered. Like, just because, like, she just was figuring it out quick. Like, she started way lower than everybody else. Yeah. But she was figuring it out way quicker than everybody else.
It's an interesting discussion because when you come into a show like this with a voting block naturally, and it doesn't get broken up, it's a huge advantage. Yeah. It should be a huge advantage. Yeah. I mean, Rob doesn't even at the round table make a good case for Johnny over Eric. He just says it's his instinct and his gut, his instinct. Maura just blindly follows him. And she votes for Johnny. Afterward is when Rob grabs her face and says, we're going to win this, which, again, the manipulation of, I want to be clear. I am not, like, we've talked a lot about, like, how certain parts of the internet Rob is being like vilified for being a traitor, basically. I do not personally, I don't watch any of his actions on the show and feel like any of them were out of the bounds of the game. So
yeah, he didn't cross a line. I don't feel like he crossed a line of like, I swear on whatever, you know, like, or deceit to a different stuff. He played the game. It was all within the bounds of the game.
Even with some of the stuff with like the gender stuff, people are like, why is he saying he wants Eric at the end? This is why, y'all. Like, he wanted a guy who he could throw under the bus. It wasn't because he was a man. He picked Eric because he needed another man in there for obvious numbers reasons, which for some reason the faithfuls never really grasped. And then he stuck with him because he knew he would be able to beat him at the end quite easily. And it was not even close. All right. So between the round table and the Ring of Fire, Tara tries again to convince Maura. Maura keeps saying, am I being stupid? I only met Rob once before coming here. And it's hard to watch.
Every time she asked, am I stupid? It pained me. It was so painful that she kept asking that question. And the silence from anybody to affirm her just was the loudest thing going on.
I wanted so badly for her to pull
Is this the like the women equivalent of like when I watch Family Feud and hope the black team doesn't say something dumb? Is this what it's like?
I'm trying to think of, it's for me like, well, I would say it's like picking Drake May for MVP and then watching him. But it's not like I ever thought she was capable of. I was just so obviously wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to the Ring of Fire. The one that really killed me was the Tara vote, though, because so they show up in all their finest garb. Rob's in his one-shouldered overalls. Tara says this would be a personal victory for me because I get things wrong all the time. Alan's wearing a blue velvet robe with lights. You know that's going to be a thing. So they all vote and they say we think they're still a traitor. Great. And Tara says it's Eric. Did you? Because this is when after this it was over, right?
Yeah.
So this is the pivotal vote, which is Maura. Did you at any point believe she would do the right thing and pick Eric instead of Tara?
I did. I kind of was.
Too. I feel like
I kind of thought,
this is so obvious.
Yeah, I thought that we were going to get
so dumb.
I thought we were going to get like a flashback edit or something where she's like, ha, I've had, like this is, where she was explaining it ahead of time.
Television.
It would have been so amazing if she, like, at some point, I went from like feeling bad for Maura to like screaming at the TV for her to having hope that this thing would get worked out. And it just ended up in the worst possible result.
It was brutal to watch. I think it would, not to do another sports analogy, but I think it would be like rooting for a team where the coach has to go for it on fourth down and he just doesn't. And you're like, screaming, what are you, they're like punt the ball with, 3 minutes left thinking they're going to get it back. And it's just an incredibly frustrating moment of television. And it would have been such an amazing season if she had
turned it around. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not, we can talk about the whole season at the end, but she votes for Tara and it's the single dumbest moment on the show. Dumb. I'm sorry. I don't want to keep saying dumb. I don't like calling it dumb. It's the single most illogical moment.
Where do we put this on I was thinking, Sinners, the lady telling the vampires to come in, or Star-Lord.
By the way, where I was like, not my team. Not my team making the crucial error.
Or Star-Lord punching Thanos at the end there. Or this, we have these three. We have these three on infuriating.
Feels right.
Yeah,
right. We're just like, what the frick are you doing? This is so stupid. It honestly, if it was a scripted television series, it would have been like, this is so dumb. No character would actually. Which I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but my one thing I can't handle in television is when characters act illogically.
Mm-hmm.
Like more so than like gruesome violence or even bad acting. I cannot stand a series when a character keeps making irrational choices. And so like this was like excruciating for me personally to watch. It was just like this is so like come on. Okay, so then we get Rob flipping on Eric. Eric votes to end the game. Maura votes to keep it going. She's like, ooh, Eric thinks he's got us all fooled. And I was like, then you should have voted for him in the last freaking follower. She notices though that Rob's smiling and she gets like kind of weirded out. And then Rob votes to keep it going. Eric's does the shocked Pikachu. Rob says, I made a pinky promise. I intend to keep it. Eric said, I trusted you guys. This sucks. And then he says, I want you to think about why you never questioned the other player in this game. Again, Maura.
Yeah.
What universe would you watch how these two people have acted and think that Eric, who legitimately looked like he had been punched in the face.
Yes. Yeah.
Not to say that, he's obviously not a faithful, but like it was. And I was thinking at that point, it's already a lost cause for her, right? Because she's going to lose no matter what. Right. But even after they got out Eric, she still thought Rob was a freaking faithful.
Yeah. And now you have a situation where you have two most likely traitors who appear to, well, actually three who have shown public, I'm being backstabbed by Rob. Like that has been their emotion. And they've done it right in your face. And they have said they've been backstabbed by this dude. And she's like, Rob, we won. We're going off into the sunset, Thelma and Louise style.
You know what Maura is like? Have you ever seen the Scary Movie franchise? There's a bit they do. It's like a parody of Screams. I've only seen the first one, but there's a bit in the first one where like it's a group of people running away from a killer, and they keep being like, "Let's run into the room of chainsaws."
Yeah.
They're like, "We could go out and like call the cops." They're like, "No, that won't work. Let's go into the dark graveyard." Anyways, that's what it felt like watching her just like completely going into the basement over and over and over.
Scary Movie 6 coming out. They're doing Sinners parody.
So Eric says, I wouldn't have been able to live with myself because they both vote for Eric. They keep the game going. She votes for Eric because she is an illogical person who does not, who's just blindly faithful. Eric says, I wouldn't have been able to live with myself. Again, it's so insane that Laura still thinks Rob is so faithful at this moment. Ellen asks her to reveal. She looks jubilant. She thinks that her and her guy are going to win. Rob looks legitimately like he's going to throw up in this moment. So he has to do. He says, I always have been a traitor. The whole game I've been a traitor. David, Maura, it looked like there was no part of her that expected this.
At all. None whatsoever. I mean, she put up the heart emoji. Like, we did this together. The only comp I would have would be the Johnny Bananas from Rivals. Where he got to, I don't know if you saw this one, or there was one where you partner up with people that you do not, that you probably previously had issues with.
Okay.
And you get to you win. And once you win, if both of you decide to split the winnings, you split it. But the person who comes in first could decide to keep it. So he went the whole season partnered up with somebody who he did not get along with before. They worked together. He gets to the top. And at the end, he says, I'm keeping all the money and sends her with nothing. That's the only comp I have for this. But even then, it was an actual betrayal because you kind of had to win anyway, right? But it was an actual betrayal. And there were not as many clues as there were with this. But that was the flashback it gave me.
She says... She says, I'm so stupid. He's like, hey, you lasted. She's like, stop talking. She says, you're never going to have a girlfriend after this. You lie. You're a bad man.
Yeah, right.
It's a tough watch. It's like a legitimately tough
it's hard to watch.
Because you watching someone, like you said, kind of make a fool of themselves to this extent is really, it's just like cringeworthy from the couch.
Yeah.
So I want to hit on two things with Rob as we wrap. We're not watching the reunion, so I'm sure that'll give us some. I'm sure Candace is going to come for him, and we'll see how that goes. Colton and all that. So Rob talks about basically betraying Eric and
Mm.
Maura, and he says, would you give $100,000 to someone you just met 3 weeks ago? That's basically if he had stuck it out with Eric. No.
Mm.
He says, this could change my family's life. Because ultimately the final winnings were like about 250 or something, right?
240, something or another. Yeah.
And then he says he doesn't think Maura will forgive him. So before we get to Rob and like kind of his overall season and whatnot, what did you think of him citing that at the end? Because at one hand, I'm watching this and I'm thinking, first of all, being seen as a brilliant winner is more important than anything, I think, from a career standpoint. Also, like, he probably makes as much as that in like 2 Instagram posts now. However, I do think it's notable, David, like coming into this show, his profile was a lot small. I mean, he was pretty well known because of Love Island, but this took it to the stratosphere. And like, you know, he didn't know that, like, taping. So like, what did you think of his kind of explanation at the end and how he played the game?
Yeah, I mean, he played to win. He won. I mean, sometimes I guess in real time you don't realize what it is, but he's going to he's on the I think the white Alandria path. Like, he's going to be a model. He's going to be doing all those things. You know, like he's there. And I think if he probably knew how much money he's going to make now, he'd be more likely to split and do those things. But he came out of Love. He came out of maybe one of the most popular seasons of television we've ever had. And he's making a lot less money, I would assume, than the big 6 on that show.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, like
and so and because he didn't do the reunion show, not the reunion, the sort of like we're back in LA show, and so he's probably been on a lower profile, like you said, and so he doesn't know that these things are guaranteed coming out of this. So he took the bag, and now he's going to make so much more money immediately. Immediately, he's going to make money.
It is interesting, like what it can do for your reputation too, because like he said, people just see me as a dumb hot person. I beat everyone. Right. And Alan says you're one of the greatest traitors we've ever had. That lights up his poncho. I think like the value of winning in like series, like from what I understand from season, is more valuable than the actual money. I think it was worth it for him to be the sole winner because of what it does for his image. And but I will say this. Great. Like I said, Alan said you're one of the greatest traitors we've ever had. So I didn't watch series season. From what I've read about it and understand, it does seem more impressive to me in particular because, and this is not, we always talk about this with football, you only play the teams in front of you, right?
Right. Yeah.
Strength of schedule. I don't think Rob ever had a worthy opponent in this game.
Yes.
And so it would have been a more impressive win to me if somebody like, I don't know, if Natalie had been able to do, or like, you know, Kristen or Cole, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end, when it was down to, and again, he deserves credit actually for making these his opponent. Like, he basically gave himself the number 1 seed and got to play a cupcake playoff schedule.
Right.
Tara, Eric, Maura, he lined them up.
But
even before that, I just don't think anyone really posed a true threat.
Yeah, there was no real gamer situation. I mean, look at who his other traitors were. They were not really didn't play great games. Like, I thought Candace was okay, but she kind of fell apart in the strategy when it was time to come after him. So when we're thinking about this, I think we're going to use a little bit of the nuance that we're not going to see on Threads or anything. Like, but on the spectrum of like hot white privilege won this thing and genius, you know, mastermind, he's somewhere in the middle, right? He's somewhere in the middle of that. Because I don't think it was solely just like a mediocre hot white dude. And I don't think he just like gamed the system perfectly. He played well, things fell his way. And at the end of it, there was nobody really there to challenge him.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think when we go back and look at it, knocking out the right people at the right times was what he did best in this game. Yeah. So that when he got to the end, there was no one truly capable of threat. Even Natalie, who I felt was kind of disappointing this season, there was just no one at the end.
Yeah.
And that's his credit. Like he did, and I've read interviews with him where he talks about how, I wish they showed more of this stuff, by the way. He talks about like how every night he would try to like game out things and count numbers. And don't you wish, when we wrap here, like, wouldn't you like to see that? Like, see more strategic discussion and like, or even like a producer talking, like, walk me through your strategy. I personally would be interested in seeing more of that.
Hey guys, hey guys, you look, we're busy taking over one reality show reunion thing. If you need a post game, we need post game people to break down the tape. We got you guys. No, I do think the show overall, from a production standpoint, could, because even just like talking to you guys, especially like talking to like Charlie who's watched the game, I feel like I've learned a lot more than just from watching the show because of the gamesmanship, learning what the, I guess not literally, but the brackets and all that stuff and what means what. I think seeing people game and where their strategy is going, I think would do a lot here.
Yeah, even like things I think maybe they got to do a little bit more telling and less showing. Like when Rob picked Eric, I put out a post that was like, y'all not really understand why he picked a man. And some people pointed out that they showed like a flash of a conversation about that, but they probably should have shown us more conversation between the traitors or whatever about like, why, okay, we need to get a man in here because everyone's going to assume it's a man. It's just little things like that. I don't know. I just think,
I mean, or even Alan Cumming himself at the end, just being like, hey, this is what, like, this is why these things are happening, but I do think one of the reasons Rob is going to get shortchanged a little bit is we don't see the actual depth of.
That's what I'm saying. I think from what I've read, and like, again, when you take a step back from the season, when you look at the how he set things up, the people he targeted, like even a move, like if I had to go back and watch, like we were so shocked he got rid of Colton when he did, but in retrospect,
perfect
timing. Yeah. So I think like there's just things like that where it's like, I'd love to hear him kind of go back over the course of the season and explain why he did the things he did when he did them. But yeah, he charted his own path to success with that number. Like I said, it's the number 1 seed. So credit to Rob. It's a great season. Ultimately, for me, a very frustrating finale because I guess it is like watching the Patriots play the Seahawks in the Super Bowl for most people. You want to see someone put a little bit more of a fight. The greatest game at the end, but that's not his fault. Like he set up the dominoes and they fell.
And I want to also, do a sort of a disclaimer that I hate that we have to do. Like Maura is, for anybody who's listening, but we have kind people who are part of viewer discretion. So this is not something that we're going to have to deal with. I think Maura's going to get a tough. People are going to say really nasty things about her and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it was a game, and she trusted this dude in this game. It doesn't mean that she's like the worst person or just some, whatever words you want to say about her intellect or whatever. She got played in a game. She got played.
I don't want to. I want to. We always used to do this on sports TV. I'm not saying she's an illogical person. I'm saying she made illogical choices.
Right. Like she got fooled by this dude. And it worked out in his favor. Leave her Instagram comments alone. She's probably been dreading this for the last like 6 months or whatever.
Oh my God, I know. That's crazy.
Having to go to the Met Gala. She was at the Met Gala, and I'm sure she was like, in 3 months, all these people are gonna like look at me and think.
Nah, more, keep building that following, girl.
I know. She's got a redemption arc. There's gonna be some redemption thing for her. Something.
If there was a person who like won the season other than Rob, is there anyone else that you feel like?
I think Ron Funches.
Ron Funches, yeah, our guy.
Ron Funches was somebody who
funny and
yeah. I think Johnny and Tara came out really well, especially at the end. Like that, we know that they knew who it was. Especially the way Tara, especially how she started. Like she was a throwaway at the very beginning and actually ended up being kind of a critical player. So.
All right, that's it for our Traitors coverage. We'll be back next week to do the finale. I think we don't know what the reunion is, Love is Blind, but the finale of Love is Blind.